Moving on, production has started in some factories in Aleppo's east, nearly 2 weeks after the Syrian city was fully cleared of foreign-backed militants. Laborers at a damaged textile factory in Aleppo's Aleppo district have begun working after officials called for the restoration of the city's production abilities. Meanwhile, cleanup operations are underway throughout Aleppo's eastern side, which was liberated on December the 22nd, ever since civilians who fled deadly clashes there have been gradually returning back home. Aleppo was Syria's industrial and financial center before it fell to anti-Damascus militants in 2012. Press TV's Muhammad Ali joins us now from the Syrian capital, Damascus. Muhammad, bring us up to speed on the restoration of production abilities taking place in the now fully liberated city of Aleppo.
Yes, that is correct. The restoration of production lines, let's say, is ongoing in the city of Aleppo after it was fully liberated and cleared of foreign-backed militants over there. What we know is that the Prime Minister, along with several other ministers, have been actually visiting the city of Aleppo and touring its streets, and most importantly, the industrial factories and industrial cities over there. For example, Sheikh Najjar Industrial City, which is one of the largest, not just in Syria, but also in the Middle East there. We know that this city has been destroyed largely by terrorists during the unrest when they were in control of it. However, after the Syrian army took control of that city 2 years ago, and now after the entire city of Aleppo is secured, there is now a bigger chance that this large industrial city could be actually active once again. The Prime Minister visited that city. He met with the owners of the factories over there. He said that all support will be given to by the government to this city, to those factories in order to restore production over there. What we also know is that the Minister of Electricity, along with local administration and all actually government ministries, said that they will be providing all support needed for this industrial city to be reactivated. We know also that previously during the unrest, when terrorists used to be in control of those industrial areas and cities, they looted those factories and smuggled them into Turkey. But now the owners of those factories have expressed determination to rebuild what has been destroyed and to restore production lines over there due to the importance of Aleppo as an industrial city for the entire region. Of course, we are expecting to see such factories active again after all of that all of those statements by the government, the Syrian government. And also in parallel, we can see that the normal life is being restored to the city now after 4 years of terrorists' occupation, and this definitely signals the restoration in parallel of the industrial life over there in that city.
Obviously, a lot of work is left to be done to restore Aleppo to its past capabilities, but as you mentioned, a lot of optimism is also being poured in to return the city to its full capacity as it once was.
Yes, exactly. There is a lot of destruction in the city, especially in the areas that were controlled by the terrorists over there. Mainly, as you know, it was the Al-Nusra Front, now named as Fath al-Sham. But the rubble has been removed from the streets. The people, the residents of those areas went back to their homes to check on them. Those who have their apartments not fully destroyed or not largely destroyed have actually come back to live over there. Those who have their apartments partially destroyed are working on rebuilding them. You can see that hope is once again there in the city of Aleppo for the residents to rebuild their lives, whether we're speaking about the industrial factories, the cities, or even just the normal lives of the people. And the government is doing what it can, actually, all ministries, whether electricity, to restore electricity to areas that had electricity towers cut, or even areas like the Al-Sha'ar and others that were destroyed by the terrorists. Even the schools are being rehabilitated. Those schools that were turned by terrorists previously into command centers now. Education is being also restored. The Minister of Education is also working on that. Normal life in general, in all sectors, is being restored now after the government took control of the city.
And also turning our attention to the upcoming Syria peace talks scheduled to be held in the Kazakh capital of Astana. The environment and the situation surrounding the peace talks can be quite different this time around, as Aleppo has been fully liberated, which was a major victory for Damascus and the Syrian armed forces.
Yes, definitely. Military developments on the ground in Syria do affect largely political talks, internationally speaking. The Syrian army has now the upper hand in many parts of the country now after the liberation of Aleppo, definitely, and also many advances, not just in Aleppo, but previously we have to mention important advances for the Syrian army in the Damascus countryside, as many reconciliation deals have been reached. Many areas have been liberated without a fight. The Syrian government took control of areas like Daraya, Al-Mu'addamiyya, and Khan al-Sheikh, and more areas are being liberated now as terrorists are taken out from those areas into Idlib. So definitely any military development on the ground would affect largely the peace talks, internationally speaking. And also we have a ceasefire now which is into effect. Turkey, which is a major supporter of terrorist groups on the ground, is now part of this ceasefire, which signals hope that this ceasefire could be actually a successful one, unlike previous ones where Turkey was not involved. The terrorist groups like Ahrar al-Sham and others like Jaish al-Islam were also not part now. They are all part of this ceasefire deal. So this definitely signals hope that this ceasefire could be actually a successful one and could be paving the way for a more successful round of peace talks between all sides in Syria.
Mohammed Ali, our correspondent, joining us from Damascus. Thank you for the update, Mohammed.